how can I use my lifetime? How can I use my work that I do every single day to make as big of an impact as possible? Like, how can I work with people, not just as athletes, but as human beings?
Physiotherapy services, for example. How can I grow my business? How can I reach out to other people? What they miss out is how can you communicate your services?
When we meet someone that we are drawn to and we want to work with them, it's usually because they are charismatic. So 2 of these traits make up 82% of charisma. And let me share with you what they are. The first one is warmth.
Last, a handshake.
Yeah,
So,
if you just met someone, don't keep doing this
Yes.
for 20 seconds, okay?
been there, done that. Hi, my name's Bobby. I'm from Wise Healthcare. I'm today here with Trang Nova, the communication skills enthusiast, or how would I put it?
Yeah, communication nerd, speaking geek, all of those things.
What Trang specializes in is mostly assisting businesses and small to medium business owners on all different levels, even in new startups, to factor out or to restructure the way you can actually communicate your message to your target market, to your audience, to the clients that way you are going to sell your services or your products. I'll let Trang say a lot more about this today. We're going to keep it short today. We're not going to keep it a very long discussion. There will be a longer discussion with Trang in person on the 13th of August on Wednesday in Airport West at one of the Wise Healthcare's next event, what we are doing. Trang, give us a little bit of your background for the audience and for the recording that we have today.
For sure. Well, firstly, Bobby, thank you for having me for this conversation. Like, I'm stoked to be here and I'm very much looking forward to the event on August 13 as well. A little bit of a background about me is I have lived multiple lifetimes, and we talked about this before. You know, being born to Vietnamese immigrant parents in Australia, growing up, my 3 career options are to become a doctor, a lawyer, or a disappointment. Like, those are the options. I met them in the middle and I graduated as a physiotherapist. But after a few years of practice, I felt like my heart wasn't in it as much as it could be. You know, this is what I thought I should do based on what my parents told me. And I started to question, how can I use my lifetime? How can I use my work that I do every single day to make as big of an impact as possible? Like, how can I work with people, not just as athletes, but as human beings? And that's when I started to explore different ways of working. And I eventually left physiotherapy and started my own business. I initially was working as a life and mindset coach because I believe that when more people achieve their potential, then they will thrive in their life. And when more people thrive, then humanity will thrive. And when humanity thrives, then the world will thrive for all of us and for future generations. So that was my first line of work. And as I did that, I left physiotherapy. I started traveling more. People started to ask me, Trang, how did you do it? Can you show us how we can build our own business of impact as well? So then I went into business coaching because if I helped more business owners have impact in their community, then my ripple of impact can go even wider. But eventually I started to realize that I'm not necessarily the best entrepreneur. So I'm not necessarily the best business coach. But what my greatest strength was and what the common thread was between all of these different lines of work was my ability to move people with my voice. So whether it's helping someone to run a marathon, whether it's helping someone to start their business, to double, triple their business, my voice had a lot of power to move people and to make change. So I went all in on that. I went all in on speaking and speaking coaching because I really do believe that our voice has so much power. I really believe, yeah.
Absolutely. Relaying a message about where you are coming from and what sort of services you're providing and how is it going to benefit the other person that you're offering that service for in exchange for $1, it makes a huge impact.
Yeah.
even within the NDIS sector, we see a huge amount of NDIS service providers brought up almost pretty much every day. Every few weeks, every few months, I meet so many new service providers.
Yeah.
I am personally myself working with quite a few number of new setups, new establishments, people who are wanting to thrive within this NDIS sector. Now, whether that can be an IT company, whether that can be a consultancy firm, or whether that can be a nursing service provider or a new housing provider within the NDIS sector and the allied health professionals. I'm working with quite a few. I always find the same challenge, that communicating your message to the other side is crucially important, and it always gets overlooked or it's underrated.
Yeah.
A lot of people see that, okay, if I'm offering physiotherapy services, for example, how can I grow my business? How can I reach out to other people? What they miss out is, how can you communicate your services, specialization, the area of your service where you are supporting, the kind of people or the kind of age groups or the kind of specific backgrounds or the health circumstances that you are actually working with, that you specialize in, where you stand out from the rest of the herd of all of the rest of the physiotherapists. It becomes very different.
Yeah.
A lot of people miss out on that.
You're right.
So-
You are right. Because we get taught in school that our technical skills are the most important. So as you're saying, a lot of NDIS providers, we're focusing on their caregiving, like their technical skills, working with their patients, working with their clients. But what is the point of being the best in the world at giving care when we can't communicate that and inspire our clients or patients to do their work, to be able to network, to be able to get more visibility, to be able to get more growth in our business, even if we are the best in the world?
Absolutely.
We need to focus on the communication to amplify our skills that already exist inside of us.
Absolutely. Therefore, even with all the NDIS networking events that I go to as a guest speaker, or even the events for the NDIS community that we are organizing for all the knowledge sharing and the experience with all different, so many different people coming from different backgrounds and different benchmarks that they have achieved within the NDIS and the healthcare sector, to share the knowledge and the experience, to teach the other people or to guide the other people on what sort of insights they can benefit from. Communication and relaying a message is important. I always tell people to come out on these events, share your experience, share your story, tell them what you do best, tell them where you are located, meet those people. Rather than concentrating on services that you sell, try to make an impact about how good are you with your service, how well can you look after an NDIS participant, what is the benefit of another person to be working with you. Once they realize those benefits of working with you, they will certainly remember you, they will keep that in their mind, and think of you as a first person of contact when they think of that one particular service. I'm sure you've gone through that as a physio, and going through and finding that gap from a physiotherapist's perspective to going through communications coach for a lot of businesses that you have worked with. And we've been discussing on some of the success stories and how people have benefited, how business have grown, and the structured approach that you have. How do you advise to the audience and everyone who's watching us today about the essence of communication in the NDIS sector for a small to medium NDIS services business? Or it could be an established business who's facing a challenge about the next step of growth in their business.
Yeah, for sure. What I would start with is this. I'll ask you a question. If you think of the last time you paid a lot of money or you were very invested in a service yourself, if you think about the last time that you found a service or found a business that you wanted to work with and you've been loyal to them for a long time, can you think of one example?
Yeah, I can think of quite a few actually.
Yeah?
I
Give
can
us
think of quite a
one
few.
example for you.
Well, my printer, my business cards and the printer, I've been working with him for about 15 years now. So every time I think of a design, I would design all of that myself, and I'll send him the PDF to print it.
Okay, great example. Now, what is it about this printing company and about this guy in particular that makes you feel so drawn to work with him and to continue working with him?
I think for me, it is me personally.
Yeah.
it is the convenience of my memory bank. I don't have to remember a new person,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
you know.
Yes.
And
What
I
about
know
at
the
the
printer,
start?
one printer,
Yes.
done.
What about at the start when you first met him? Like, why did you choose him, not the 20 other people you could have chosen?
That was because my cousin recommended him because he used to get all his printing done from him.
Right. Okay.
And that
So
was
your
about 15
cousin
years ago.
recommended.
Yes.
Okay. This is a really good example.
And then every time I look around with the mass printing that I used to do with him,
Yep.
he always comes out to be the cheapest
Right.
with the entire average
Yeah. Yeah.
and the minimum issues.
Yep.
Yeah?
Sure. Sure.
So if there's an issue with the artwork, he'll tell me, okay, Bobby, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
If there is, even for the payment, so I could be sending him out an artwork on the fly and I forget about it. And now given the relationship with 15 years, he'll come back to me even a week after, okay, Bobby, your invoice is overdue. But for the other printers, I have to pay up front.
Yes.
I have cousins, I have some friends, very close friends than him, who are in printing sector. But I've never gone to them.
This is a really good example, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Bobby, because it sounds like your relationship with this person has been a big factor in you continuing your work with him. And the only reason you found out about him in the first place was because you got recommended. So someone else is raving about this company and about this person. So to go back to your original question, I'll share a little bit now, and I'm going to share more of this on August 13. When we meet someone that we are drawn to and we want to work with them, it's usually because they are charismatic. Charismatic people make us drawn to them and we want to spend more time with them. We feel like we can trust them. We feel like we can rely on them. So in terms of our communication, if you're a small to medium NDIS provider, this is what you can focus on. Focus on building more charisma in your communication. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's been some really great research by a woman called Vanessa Van Edwards, fantastic woman. And she has found that charisma is actually primarily made up of two main traits. So two of these traits make up 82% of charisma. And let me share with you what they are. The first one is warmth. When we meet someone, we need to show them that we are warm and friendly. And this is what I got from you the first time I met you. As soon as I met you, Bobby, you smiled, big smile. And you opened up your arms to be like, hey, like bring it in for a hug. That made me feel like I can trust you. That makes me feel safe. And that is the first part of charisma. We need to show that we are friendly, that we are welcoming, that we are warm. And Bobby does that really well. Big smile, open gesture, right? So that's the first part. Now, the second part of charisma is actually the opposite of warmth. It's called competence. Competence is not just going to get someone to trust you, but it shows someone that they can rely on you, that you are the expert, that you are the authority, that you know what you are talking about. And that is very important to balance out warmth. Because it's one thing to have a friend that you can joke around with, but it's another to know that you can lean on their shoulder when you need them. You know, everyone wants a leader who is approachable, but is also reliable, right? Everyone wants a teacher who is funny, but is also competent. So we need to both be friendly and warm, and we need to be competent. We need to show that we have authority in the way that we speak. And a way that you can achieve that is when you are speaking, this is just one way, there are many ways, but when you are speaking, slow down a little bit and make sure you have pauses in your sentences. Like what I just did. Because when you do that, you show that you are confident and you know what you are talking about. In contrast, people who are nervous and they may be lying or they don't really know what they're talking about, they talk really fast and they don't really leave any gaps and they continue talking like this because they're scared that they're going to be exposed. So slow down. Allow pauses. And that shows that you are confident and competent. So that's what I would recommend. Charisma, warmth, and competence.
That's a very good point, which brings me back to my thought train. I tell people to not try to be a master of 10 different specialities, but to be expert in one, focus on only one, concentrate on one. That also builds up the persistence of a person, the consistency of a person, and a particular subject matter that an individual is aware of to any length, to any depth of it. Like if you're a physio, be a good physio.
Yeah.
Do not try to overcome another occupational therapist. Do
Yes.
not try to be the best at all different sort of allied health services and offer everything. Coming back to the verbal communication cue or a tip that you have given, the warmth and competence, that is in the communication, in the verbal communication. What's a one tip about non-verbal communication that you would like to give out?
What comes to mind as a speaking coach is when it comes to communication, 65% of our communication is non-verbal. 65%. In other words, 65% comes from our body language. So body language says a lot, not just what we say. In fact, it's more than half of our communication. So what I recommend is when you are speaking and when you are interacting with your clients or other colleagues or potential collaborations that you've got, use your body to show that you are interested and you are engaged. And there's a technique called fronting. So fronting is when you turn your whole body, your head, your torso, and your feet to be facing the person that you are talking with. And this is really important because they will pick up subconsciously, is this person interested? Versus, have you ever talked to someone at a networking event and their body is half face away and they're just looking at you with their head? Deep down, you feel something's off. You might not recognize it consciously, but deep down you're like, oh, it kind of looks like that person wants to walk away and they were trying to get away as fast as they can. They're not that interested. So if we want to build strong relationships, if we want to build trust, if we want to build rapport, then use our body language and front the person with our head, our torso, and our toes.
That brings me back to a memory in my head. I was walking through a few of my own networking events, and subconsciously what I do, if I'm talking to one particular person and you come along, I would just hold you, okay? Try and stay. Let me finish off this, don't go. Let me finish up this conversation. I'm here with you, okay? Don't go, but be a part of this conversation. Listen, there could be something else. So
Yeah.
I just let you have that interest in the conversation, get you to participate in that conversation, so the other person doesn't feel obligated or anything.
Yeah.
And then eventually, when that conversation finishes, because I talk to so many different people, when that conversation ends, I move down to the next person. So okay, this is a person of my primary focus now. And then there could be someone else.
Yeah,
so,
that's a good example, Bobby. And I have noticed, actually, you do this very well. What you mentioned before was you said you kind of touch them, like you hold them, right? So humans are wired to build trust through touch. That's why during COVID, like we struggled so much. That's why when we are close with someone, like family, friends, intimate partner, we hug and we're very physical with each other. But even in a professional setting, some touching can work really well. So a very quick and immediate way to build rapport is touch the other person. But obviously you need to do this in an appropriate way. So even a handshake, even a fist pump, even like a high five. Like me and Bobby have been high-fiving all day today, I've noticed. Bobby loves a high five. So even like a momentary touch can instantly build rapport. Now, if you want to be working with clients, if you want to inspire them, get them to do something that they've never done before, you need to build trust and touch, especially below the elbow. It's very safe for people who you don't know very well. Below the elbow. Start with that, a momentary touch, high five, shaking hands, fist pump, something to instantly build rapport.
Talking about the touch and below the elbow, I'd like to tell the people listening and watching is to be mindful giving them a disclaimer to be mindful of when, who, where, how to touch,
Of course,
and
yeah.
how long to keep your hand on one's shoulder or the upper or the lower arm, and
Yeah,
how long to last a handshake.
Yeah,
So,
if you just met someone, don't keep doing this
yes,
for 20 seconds, okay?
been there, done that. So, leadership is my passion. I talk to a lot of different businesses about the leadership, the communication for the leaders, the areas of business specialization or the departments that a leader has to be aware of and communicate at a multitude of the channels. What is something that you would be wanting to share with the leaders today and tomorrow, the ones who are in the development phase, who are growing their businesses, working hard for it? Something from your understanding as a communications coach, what do leaders need to do that a lot of people are missing?
When I think of leaders who have changed history, like Martin Luther King Jr. or Mother Teresa, like the best leaders in the world aren't necessarily the most qualified or the most hardworking, or they haven't sat down to study a 10-step course on leadership. What I believe these leaders have done to change history is they've used their voice to speak up and to bring their vision to life. They've used their voice to move people, to inspire people to come onto their mission with them. So my like stance and something that I would like to leave with you is through the lens of communication and speaking is step into leadership through authentic use of your voice. Like speak up with passion. Speak up with raw emotion. Show your authentic desire and your authentic mission. And that way you can move people to get behind your mission, and you'll have more people to bring your business and your goals to life. So leadership for me is about connecting with other people and inspiring them. And we can do that with our authentic voice.
Now, that authenticity also comes with the power of storytelling. What's your belief about that? About a storytelling, creating that actual impact in a communication, in an interaction.
Storytelling is the core of connection. I could sit here, or we could both sit here, right, for 1 hour and talk about, oh, communication's important. But that's just going to be boring. The one difference between strangers and best friends is the stories that we share. And I'm sure we've all got best friends that you can talk about, oh my gosh, remember that time that we did this? Or remember 10 years ago when we almost died together? Like we have more stories with people who we are connected with. So when it comes to leadership, don't lecture people, don't tell them what to do. People don't like to be told what to do. But if you share a story and then you use that to bring in a learning or bring in a lesson, then you will inspire people. So that's why I like to share stories when I'm teaching. I like to talk about my stories of the time I almost failed or the time that I didn't speak up and how that worked against me. The more that we tell stories, the more connected we are.
For a lot of India's businesses, I believe that storytelling is an art about where they share a certain experience, respecting the privacy matters about and the names and locations about different people that they have made a difference in lives of. But sharing that experience is and the way they have actually made that positive impact in somebody else's life within this NDIS sector, because that is what we are focusing on today as well. It leaves the other person with an understanding of where the other person, where one person or where you are coming from, the experience that you've had. It leaves them with a memory of the difference that you have made and impact that you have made in another person's life. And how well versed are you with your own expertise and the line of business what you are doing, which once again leaves the other person with a memory of who you are and who they want to reach out to one day when they need a professional with that particular service that you are offering.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Agreed with
Yeah.
that.
I think we need to be moving towards the end of this conversation today. With the topic of storytelling, let's continue the storytelling and story sharing experiences
Yeah.
another day once again. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very long conversation once we sit down for a storytelling and a experience sharing session, which can be very impactful not only within the NDIS sector or the NDIS services provider, who we are meeting on the 13th of August in Airport West,
Yeah.
but it's going to be impactful and something to remember, and there will be a lot for a takeaway for businesses and new startups of every level and scale and scope. So we'll continue that conversation about storytelling one day, I'm pretty sure. We'll make time for that. But for today, we will be ending this podcast recording today with Trang Nova, the communication specialist. To learn more about how to relay a message about who you are, what services you offer, and what sort of impactful difference you can make in an NDS participant's life, do visit us on Wednesday, the 13th of August in Airport West. And Trang, what will be one last takeaway would you like to give our audience for today? The rest will certainly come
Yeah.
on the 13th of August.
I mean, there are two takeaways. One, you better be there on August 13 because there's going to be so much more value that you'll get that night. Second takeaway is remember that you don't have to be born a natural or confident speaker to be good at communication. Speaking is a skill. And just like any skill, whether it's riding a bike or playing the piano, anyone can learn and master that skill. So if you are in the NDIS sector, you're a provider, this is a skill that you need every single day, and you can get good at it. You just need to put in time to develop that skill.
It's been amazing talking to you today, Trang.
Yep, thank you,
Thank you so
Bobby.
much. Thank you, everyone. We'll look forward to seeing you on the 13th of August in Airport West. Thank you.